Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're doing episode number 26 of I Build Your Teams, the series where I'll build my viewers' teams into the best teams possible for my team unlimited and or competitive play based on how much MT they have and what their squads are currently looking like. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button to help me push towards the 4,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day and would really appreciate your support if you haven't already, if you do subscribe. Additionally, if you want to be involved in a future episode of I Build Your Teams, make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link is always down in the description down below, and be on the lookout for a tweet about this series generally on Friday nights. Drop your team then for a good chance to be involved in the video. Without further ado, let's hop right into it, and let's start off with the first team today, which comes in from my boy Hero. He's got 215k, and I agree with him. His biggest weak spots are probably that backup power forward and center. Obviously, he's a huge Hero fan, so he's got Hero at the end of his bench, which I'm totally cool with, obviously, but I would switch D-Rob and Hakeem. That's the first thing I'll recommend, just because I think D-Rob gives you a little bit more, like, I don't know. I wouldn't even say, is it versatility? I think I like his release better, so I like that at the 4 as a pick and pop guy. I think he's got a little bit more maybe on-ball defensive ability. I'm not entirely sure, though. I think you can really run it however you want. I personally run D-Rob at the 4, and then Hakeem is my backup 5. And I actually do think one guy that you could definitely look to pick up for this squad is a guy like Kevin Garnett. I think you can pick up KG. You can play him at the 4. You can play him at the 5. You can really play him wherever you want. You could even, I think Hito is big enough that he can play the 4. Like, I think you could go with that, and then you could run KG at the 5 as an upgrade over Jaren Jackson Jr. I think you could potentially look to run KG at the 4, and then try to find a upgrade at the center position, whether that's moving Hakeem to the backup center and picking up another 4 like a Thurl Bailey, or trying to buy a 5, but I'm not entirely sure what 5 you'd buy for 100k MT. Maybe Kristaps Porzingis. There's a couple different options you can go with for sure, but you already have a solid basis of a team. Really, I think I would go KG and then one of those other options like I named, whether it's Thurl Bailey or Kristaps Porzingis or something like that, and then I think this is going to be a really, really well-built squad. Next team today comes in from Danny. He's got only about 160k, looking to get D-Rob open to any suggestions. Okay, so Ja. I don't love Ja, but I don't hate the card. Reggie Lewis, Scotty, Rudy, Giannis, Bobo, Thurl, Yao, and KP. Good squad. I will say I think I would probably personally want to have a third point guard option, just because I don't like how small Ja is, whether that means spending a little bit, maybe 50,000 MT to pick up a Magic, or buying the super budget version at PG, the super budget option, whether that's like a guy like Jalen Green. I would get one of those two guys to have in your last 3 off your bench, just as so you have another option to replace Ja with in the event that you feel like you need more size at that PG position. And then I would probably save for a center like David Robinson. You could even buy him now, just won't be able to get the top version of D-Rob, but you can still get D-Rob and plug him in as your starting center, bring KP off the bench, and then have Yao in that last 3 as well. And I would probably run a 12-man lineup with 3 PGs and with Yao as one of your last 3, just to give you that little bit of extra versatility. And doing that, you're going to have a great all-around squad. Next squad today comes in from Debo. He's got 226k and plays on next gen. He's got Cade, RJ, Tatum, Thurl, and D-Rob with Ja, Cam Reddish, Pippen, Sharif, and Yao Ming, Reggie, PC Akam, and Big Z last 3. And this is another really solid squad. I'm going to recommend the same thing that I recommended with the last team, which is to pick up one of 2 guys. Either, actually, you know what? I'm not going to recommend that for this team. What I'm going to recommend for this team specifically is that you pick up Dark Matter Luka Doncic. I don't think you need to get the power within version. I think you could even just get the unsigned Luka. He's still going to do a hell of a job for you. Not going to cost you as much MT. You should definitely have the amount of MT to pick him up. You can start Luka. He's definitely the best point guard on next gen. Bring Cade off your bench. And at that point, I really do think your squad's already looking pretty good, because RJ and Cam are both elite budget options. Tatum and Scotty are really good small forwards, and then Thurl Bailey and Sharif can get the job done. And then you have D-Rob and Yao at center, and Yao is a dog on next gen. So for me personally, I would probably start Scotty and bring Tatum off the bench, but that's really a preference thing. My biggest upgrade for this team personally is just picking up Luka, because I think he really does make it a lot easier to have a lot more success on next gen. Other than that, very, very nice squad all the way around. Next team today comes in from my boy Trent. He's got 900k and a really solid squad. Magic and Lonzo, RJ and Kazi, Chris Mullin, Cam Reddish, Rudy Gay, Thurl, Hakeem, and Pau Gasol. This is another really solid squad. I will say I think it is a little bit small, and I'm honestly not a fan of Pau Gasol with his release. Not a huge fan of the card. For me personally, I would probably pick one of RJ and Kazi Russell and play them at the backup 2, play Chris Mullin as your starting 2, and then move Rudy Gay to the starting 3. Look to pick up a 4, whether that's David Robinson. In fact, it probably would be David Robinson would be the guy that I would recommend. And I would look to pick up a 5 in terms of Patrick Ewing. So the 3 upgrades that I personally, or honestly only 2 upgrades I would personally look to make are D-Rob and Patrick Ewing. You start with D-Rob at the 4, start Ewing at the 5, bring Hakeem off the bench at the 5 to replace Powell, sell Powell, and then play Mullin at the 2 and pick one of RJ and Kazi to come off the bench at the 2. I think that's what I personally would do with this team. Otherwise, very, very good squad, but you're going to want that front court help with D-Rob and Ewing, who are the 2 best big men in the game right now. Third to last team today comes in from my boy Deluxe. He's only got 1 KMT. I'm not sure if he has more available MT than this. This is a squad I like though, because you are running Jaw, but you also have that big PG off the bench in Magic Johnson, which does give you that versatility in the event that you need it. RJ and Terry is a good shooting guard duo. Rudy, Carmelo, Evan Mobley, AK, D-Rob, and Pau Gasol. First thing I probably would recommend is selling Evan Mobley to pick up a guy like Thurl Bailey. He's cheaper than Evan Mobley. I think he's honestly probably just as good, if not better, at the power forward position. And then I think the next upgrade that I might look to make would be selling Carmelo Anthony, picking up Cam Reddish, another guy who, especially specifically on current gen, I think is better than this Melo, and he is a cheaper option as well. So that's going to save you a little bit of MT and give you a little bit of MT flexibility to work with. At that point, I think you could potentially look to go and try to save up for a backup center. I think KP is the guy to go for at that backup center position. You may have enough MT to get him, may not, but either way, that's the next position that I think needs to be upgraded, is that Pau Gasol to a guy like KP. And at that point, I really do think your team's going to be looking a lot better if you're running a 5 of Cade, or sorry, a 10 of Cade, RJ, Rudy, Thurl, and D-Rob with Jaw, Terry, Cam Reddish, AK, and then KP with Magic Johnson last 3. That's more of the type of squad that I personally would feel comfortable running, just for me. All right, second to last team today comes in from Edward. He's got 330K on current gen. He says everyone's badge was Shoe. Think about getting Ewing. His bowl is souped, and he just downgraded Clay and Scotty for Cam and RJ. Don't regret it. I don't think that's regrettable at all, to be honest. I definitely would recommend replacing, especially Clay, with one of these guys, Cam and RJ at this point. Lonzo and Jalen Rose, a solid PG duo. Great budget shooting guards. These are the 2 best budget shooting guards in the game. I love it. Rudy and Cincinnati, Bobo, Larry, D-Rob, and KP. I kind of agree with what you're saying about picking up Ewing. I do think Ewing is one of the 2 best big men in the game. Do I definitely think he's the best? Not entirely sure about that. I think D-Rob is right up there as well, but it's between D-Rob and Ewing as the best bigs in the game. I think you can run them together as well. Run D-Rob at the 4, Ewing at the 5, and then you can bring Bobo off the bench next to KP, and that'll give you 2 more 7-footers coming off the bench. You're going to rebound at a super high level, not get mashed a ton, and it's definitely going to be a beneficial squad for you personally. I think that's how I would probably look to run the squad. And yeah, I really think Ewing is probably about the only upgrade that's necessary to make for a team like this right now. Excuse me, last team today comes in from Road to My Team. He's got 415K, plays on current gen, needs help with his lineup. He's trying to stay over 300K MT, ISO and pick and roll. He wants good defensive cards that have longevity. Love the content. Okay, so I'm gonna be completely honest. This team definitely could use some work. There are some good pieces to it, and then there are some pieces that I just don't understand. Like, I mean, I understand the Dunktober Jokic meme, but like the card sucks. Please don't play him. Same thing with Vucevic at the 4. Like, I don't know what we're doing here. Jaren Jackson Jr. at the 4 is fine, I guess, but like this is just kind of an odd team. So for me personally, the first thing that I am going to recommend is that you kind of, you know what? I think you go Jalen Rose, Jaw, and Jalen Green still as your PGs. I'm cool with that, but I think the way that you do that, no, actually, I lied. I think you go Jalen Green, Jaw, and Magic as your PGs. I would sell Jalen Rose, buy Magic. Magic is a cheaper option. That's probably what I would personally do to start off with your PGs, but I would move Jalen Green to your last 3, start Magic, and bring Jaw off the bench, or maybe go Magic, Jalen, and Jaw as your last 3, but move those guys to the PG positions. Then, you know what? I'm just going to build you a team. I think that's going to be easier for me to just visually build you a team, because there's a lot more that I'm changing with this team that I've changed with a lot of teams today. Magic. Okay, there's Magic. At the 2, we're going to go RJ Barrett. At the 3, we're going to go Cam Reddish. At the 4, let's look at what you're working with currently. You don't really have any elite 4s. We're going to go Thurl Bailey. And at the 5, we're going to go Porzingis. Yeah, sure, Porzingis. Then off the bench, we're going to go Jalen Green. And you're going to go back up 2. I guess we'll go Booker, because Booker's still solid. He's not bad. You can still use that card. Back up 3. We'll go Tatum, because Tatum's still another super solid card as well. Back up 4. Jaren can get the job done. I'm cool with that. I think we could still go Jaren at the backup 4. And then backup 5, we go... You know what? Actually, we're going to go D-Rob right here. And we're going to throw D-Rob there. And this is the type of team that I personally would look to build. You have, and then you can have Jaw in your last 3. You have size at PG. You have your fun point guard as well in Jaw. You have solid budget options across the board. One really elite card in D-Rob, who's still not super expensive. D-Rob is not a crazy expensive card. You could even look to potentially pick up a guy like Rudy Gay, for example, to replace Jaren Jackson Jr., another guy who's really, really good, not crazy expensive. I think if you build a team like this, though, you're really not going to spend a ton of MT because you're going to have sold Jalen Rose and Jokic and a couple of the other actionable cards that you have, and you're going to have a really, really well-built budget squad with some of the best budget cards in the game that is capable of competing with the top teams in my team. So that's just the way that I personally look at your squad, and this is what I would try to turn it into to give you one of the best budget squads in the game. So that is the last team in the video. Hopefully y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.